Ladies and sinners, welcome to another Tuesday evening edition of the Sin City Sports Show presented by Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Kayle Henderson. You guys can get at us, as always, at SinCity_IESR, at Kayle_Henderson. We talk all things Vegas sports. As you guys know, we love to focus on our Raiders. Guess what? There was a draft, big-time draft, 2025 NFL draft. I will say I think the talent level is down this year. I do. I believe the talent level is down this year. I don't know if it was as exciting. I do feel, and this is just my tangent, a lot of people were kind of ripped off of their best moment they could probably ever have because of focus on one player for some reason. And I just don't understand what the media is just ridiculous, guys. We just can't trust them. It doesn't matter whether it's real news, sports news, it's just ridiculous. They have their own agenda, and they're always going to be pushing some sort of derogatory BS. Okay? That's kind of my little tangent for the day. Tangent for the night so far. But you guys know how it is, man. This is the Sin City Sports Show presented by Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Kayle Henderson. You guys can get at us on our Twitter forums at SinCity_IESR, at Kayle_Henderson, where we talk all things Vegas sports. Let's see here. Gotta love it. Vegas Golden Knights are live right now against the Minnesota Wild. It's tied 2-2 in the series. 2-2. Hashtag Vegas born. That is a real series. Guys, there's a lot of really great series in the NHL playoffs right now. And Adam Karnick and his family there on Neutral Zone are talking about it on a regular basis. I'm telling you guys are missing out if you're not checking out some of these NHL games. Some of this NHL love, right? We're going to go to a quick break here, guys. Play a word from our sponsor. We get back here. We're going to jump right into the Vegas Golden Knights and talk about what I think they need to do to finish this series.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, ladies and sinners, to the Sin City Sports Show presented by eSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Kayle Henderson. We're back at it again, folks. Tuesday evening, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we talk all things Vegas sports. And as you guys know, man, we got to give a shout out to our sponsors, Planet Jerky, premium brisket beef jerky that's on a whole other planet. You guys can order at planetjerky.net, on Instagram at Planet Jerky. They're still running that promotion, guys. If you buy a bag of jerky, if you post a picture eating that damn bag of jerky on Instagram, tag IE Sports Radio, tag Planet Jerky, you're going to receive a free bag of jerky. And it could be mix and match flavors, however you want to do it. They got some really hot ones. They got some really sweet ones. Get after it, guys. Take advantage of that promo code. Really proud of IE Sports Radio for partnering with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use code ISR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Big deal, guys. Gym culture's at an all-time low. I think there are people out there that are trying to make a difference. Be one of those people, you know? Not easy, not always fun. You almost feel like the bad guy from time to time, but let's be real, man. Like, there's a lot of people that really need some encouragement. So mental health awareness, use code ISR to get 15% off of these comfortable clothing items with Vital Apparel. Seal the Deal Wax Seals. You guys can order or take a look at the merchandise at sealthedeal_wax stamps. Order here at iesportsradio.com/sealthedeal wax seals. Cecilia B runs that. She's also an entrepreneur, kicking ass, taking names. These stamps look really nice, folks. Just consider them for anything. Baby shower invitations, wedding invites, right? I mean, anything you could think of that's celebratory, may need a thank you note, whatever the case. Check out Cecilia B's catalog. She hand makes them. Like, they are phenomenal. And then shout out to IE Sports Radio, our flagship channel. IE Sports Radio, been around for 10 years, guys. Been around for 10 years. I think I've been here for more than half of that, whether it's being the host of the Neutral Zone or being the host of Sin City Sports. Been a blast. I love the growth that we're seeing here. A lot of people putting their free time and effort into just covering sports and covering their favorite teams. And I have a lot of respect for that, man, because I don't have a lot of free time in life at all. I got a 4-month-old, right? Getting married this upcoming month. I mean, it's just no time. Football coach. I'm a football coach first and foremost. I run a sales routine. I mean, I'm in sales. I've been in sales since I was 18. So time is of the essence, right? Don't have a lot of it. So there's a lot of people like myself at IE Sports Radio that really dedicate a lot of their time to cover sports. So if you guys get a chance, man, follow us on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at YouTube at iesportsradio.com. You guys can go to iesportsradio.com. You can go to Sin City Sports page on iesportsradio.com. Like, follow, share all of these, as well as please go to our Twitters, right? At Sin City _ISR, at Kayle _Henderson. Give us a follow, give us a like. I repost things all the time, guys. On a daily basis, I post something. If you have something you want to talk about, maybe about this year's draft class, free agency when it comes to the Raiders, maybe the Vegas Golden Knights is something you want to talk about, because they've just been a model of excellence since they became a member of the NHL. Reach out. We're here to talk all things Vegas sports, and you guys can absolutely reach out to me. I'm very accessible, and I'm not going to ignore anybody. Even if you're rude, I'm not going to ignore you. I may give you some crap back, but I won't ignore you. Quick tangent, guys. So NFL draft took place this past weekend. First off, Green Bay, Wisconsin was first class, man. Like, it looked like it was just a fun event. Like, people just had a blast. It was probably some frigid temperatures from time to time. The sun would come out during the day when they had the day draft, but regardless, a ton of fun. That being said, I think the talent level in college football was down. I think we're finally seeing the effects of those COVID classes, you know what I mean, in 2020, 2021, where recruitment was just really difficult and NIL was just starting, and the transfer portal was the Wild West, even more so than it is now, believe it or not. And I think we're seeing those effects because it almost feels like a lot of this talent just didn't develop as well as what we saw. And maybe just the last 2 years, the draft classes were just that much better. Maybe that's the case, and I could be wrong. But to me, it just felt like a lot of these guys going out this year were a bit underwhelming. I'm really proud of them. It's awesome. They get an opportunity to be in the NFL. They deserve it. They've worked hard. But I'm just being real. Like the quarterbacks, for instance, all this hoopla about the quarterbacks. There was really only one that I think could shake a candle to last year's quarterbacks class. And I still wonder if Cam Ward, I think he would have been drafted before J.J. McCarthy for sure. But everyone else, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Cam Ward would have been better than anyone else in that draft class. It was that deep. So maybe that draft class last year was a one-off. It just didn't feel as exciting this year, man. I don't know. The talent pool just didn't seem as vast, and it's a bit disappointing. Also, I have to say, man, huge shout out to those players that were called. What a big moment for them, their families, their friends, for them, right? All the hard work they put in. Genetics is genetics, man. If you're blessed with it and you work hard, you're going to get what you want to do in life, right? NFL is one of them. I unfortunately didn't have that opportunity. It sucks. So kudos to all those folks. But here comes the tangent. I cannot stand our media, man. Our sports media is hot garbage. And this may not be a popular thing to say, but it's so race baity anymore, man. It's just everyone's trying to find some sort of agenda to push in division, and push division. It's absolutely crazy to me. The fact that one player received more airtime and more focus than any other player that we've ever seen in draft history it made me sick, dude. It made me absolutely sick. Cam Ward was the number 1 overall pick. He went 3 different teams, led them to winning seasons. He's been a professional. He's been a pro. You could see him in his interviews. Like he just seems like he's a phenomenal locked-in player. The Tennessee Titans got what I feel is going to be a very, very talented player, and I hope he kills it, right? Just another, young quarterback with tons of talent in the AFC. It seems like the AFC is getting all of the really good quarterbacks, by the way. Regardless, super happy for Cam Ward. But we didn't talk about him much this weekend. We didn't. And it's so disappointing because I guess there just wasn't as much drama and there wasn't as much of a headline to push Cam Ward being the number 1 overall pick as Shedeur Sanders sliding. It just makes me sick, dude. The fact that I'm even giving him airtime right now makes me sick. I don't have a problem with him. I don't hate on him. He's a talented player. But the way that they treated the draft this weekend with him there, like everyone else was just scum, was very disheartening. And you want to talk about somebody who's out of touch? Mel Kiper Jr. is one of the biggest. Listen, draft analysis, he started it. I have no problem saying that. I think he was the patriarch of the godfather of draft analysis and hosting draft shows and putting out draft books and evaluations and stuff. He's the godfather of that. So he gets a ton of love and respect from me when it comes to that, right? And he's been a mainstay for what feels like 40 years on ESPN when it comes to the draft. And imagine, look at what he's accomplished. His professional career has been evaluating players for an entire year and doing 3 to 6 months of ESPN coverage yearly. That's been what he's getting paid to do, and he probably makes six figures to do it. The man's living a dream. 100% living a dream. Now, this dude gets to take a 2 or 3 month vacation and doesn't really technically have to start working again until the beginning of the new college football year, where he goes back to scouting and putting his notes together. So mad love to him and what he started for a lot of folks that just dream of being in this draft analysis world. Dude, I'd kill for that. I'd kill to be a paid coach. 100% would be. It's a privilege. But there is nobody that is more out of touch, especially with the media side of things, than Mel Kiper Jr. The fact that he had the audacity to say that the NFL has absolutely no idea how to evaluate quarterback talent, and they haven't for 50 years, is laughable. This same guy said that Jamarcus Russell would be the next John Elway. I want you guys to have that sink in. The guy who's absolutely scrutinizing the NFL for passing on Shedeur Sanders and his drama and his posse and everything that comes with him, right? His name. That man said Jamarcus Russell would be something. Do you guys see the irony in that? Yes, you're allowed to miss on stuff, right? But are we serious right now? He legitimately said Jamarcus Russell and John Elway felt so strongly, the comparison felt so strong that he basically made Jamarcus Russell the next Elway in his mind. I mean, dude, what a whiff. You have the biggest whiff of all time. And you're going to come out here and tell the NFL they have no idea how to draft or evaluate talent. It's laughable. Again, a lot of love for what he's done, what he started. I envy him. I would love to be a draft analyst my entire career, make six figures for 40 plus years for ESPN and do nothing but cover kids and really celebrate them when they get drafted, no matter where they're at. I just thought he was off the marker, man. I thought he was off the mark and he was going a little crazy when it came to Shedeur. It was nuts. Here's the reality, guys, and you guys have heard me firsthand on this show, okay? Did I think Shedeur would get drafted in the first round? Yes. I think that Cam Ward and Shedeur are the top two guys. He wasn't my guy. I thought Kyle McCord was one of the most talented quarterbacks in this draft. He just didn't get a lot of love because he played for Syracuse and changed teams, right? But I digress. Cam Ward was number one, right? Shedeur felt like number two. No problem saying that. But in no way, shape, or form did I say Shedeur was a top talent. I don't think Shedeur was a first round draft pick. I just don't. I think there's too many red flags. His tape, if we're being honest, we could really only grade like 25% of his tape. And here's my logic with that, right? 50% of his tape, 50% of the 4 years in college was spent at Jackson State. You're playing nobody. Of course, you look like a god there. Okay? Not saying he didn't play well. That's awesome. He did. But the level of competition just doesn't bode well when you're vying for a top draft pick, right? So 50% of the snaps he took in college were Jackson State snaps. I disqualify those because just because you play really well at Jackson State does not mean you're a number one overall draft pick and you're going to play well in the NFL. Granted, he still won, and I give him a ton of credit for that. And realistically, being a Sanders kid, he kind of handles it graciously. for the most part. Some arrogance there, but you're supposed to be arrogant, right? When you're a top dog. I just think it's misplaced. The other half of his snaps were at Colorado. And if we're being honest, 25% of his snaps, he's either being hurried up, rushed, or they were down because Colorado was bad. So it was like garbage time stats. So the other 25% of his snaps were actually gradable. And there were a lot of snaps where he held the ball way too damn long, man. Yes, his offensive line was dog shit. I get it, man. It was not very good at all. Like, it was bad. There's a reason why they had to revamp it in year 2. And it still didn't get, it improved, but it didn't get that much better. They didn't do him any favors. He also didn't do them favors either. It's not like he got rid of the ball as fast as he could without checking it down to the running back every once in a while, right? He would hold the ball, he would shuffle in the pocket, and he'd try and make a big play. And then with that being said, when he found success, it was against not so very good teams. He struggled against good teams. Dude, he struggled against Nebraska. Nebraska was ass this year. So bad. Yes, he had a lot of pressure, but regardless, he also had a lot of snaps where there wasn't pressure and he just wasn't hitting the open guy. He was rattled. So I say this to be as objective as possible. I didn't feel like he was a first-round pick, but I in no way, shape, or form thought Shedeur was going to drop to the 5th round. No way, shape, or form. I thought he'd be a second or third rounder guy for sure. Second, actually, almost was 99% positive he wouldn't go past second round. Was the fall ridiculous? Yes. The NFL made a statement where I'm not denying that. I think the NFL basically said, you don't get to pick and choose where you go, we do. That's what I think he did. And to end this point, before we go to a quick break and we play our drops and we dive into the Vegas Golden Knights before diving into our draft analysis tonight on the Raiders, I don't think Deion did him any favors. I think the way he treated the media, the way he was talking, again, Deion comes with a bit of an arrogance because he's one of the greatest athletes we've ever seen, period. But he's earned that. The fact that he's come out and he was basically telling the NFL that he will dictate where his kid plays. Listen, man, you reap what you sow. You opened your mouth, and you're Deion. Normally you have credibility when it comes to that, and people are going to listen to you. Your kids don't. And those kids live through you and love you and look up to you. And in this case, in my opinion, you let him down. And I hope Deion, he doesn't have to, but I hope he apologizes to his kids because there's a good chance that he kind of ruined their draft stock because they're good players. That's just my 2 cents. I could be wrong. Deion's a great guy. I want him to be very successful at Colorado. I'd love to see them win a national title with him there. That'd be huge because it just shows that you don't have to just be a coach to be a qualified guy to run a program. Sometimes you can just be a megastar marketer, attract the best talent, bring in quality coaches, and you're going to see great results. And I think we're going to see that in Colorado from Deion. But in the draft status, the process, I think he screwed his kids. And I hope he's being real with that. I'm being real with that. I have no problem saying that. I don't think there's many people in the media that would disagree with me. I think Shedeur and Shiloh were absolutely screwed by their dad. He didn't mean to. Don't get me wrong. He had great intentions because it's just part of being human. You make mistakes. I just think those comments that there are certain teams that his kids won't play for screwed him. And we're talking about Travis Hunter involved with that too because he considered Travis one of his kids. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of my mindset. We're going to go to a quick break here, guys. Play a couple drops here for my teammates here at IE Sports Radio. When we get back here on the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hockey fans, I'm Adam Kernick.
And I'm Zach Puplis.
Together, we are the newest version of Hockey Talk on IE Sports Radio, The Neutral Zone.
Zone.
We love hockey, but we also know it's not everyone's first sport. So we want to make this show as much for new fans as for the diehards.
Whether you can name all the Swedes on the 08 Red Wings Stanley Cup team, or if you can't tell if Varlamov is a goalie or the latest trendy vodka, we're here to help. With facts, figures, and outrageous fans, we bring you all the hard-hitting hockey news you can handle. while still keeping it fun and on the rails. Well, mostly.
So tune in every week as we go around the hockey world, from college to Canada, the minors and the majors, and everywhere in between.
So bring your cellies,
And your one-timers,
you wicked wristas.
and be sure to protect your five-hole.
Catch the Neutral Zone every week on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We promise not to pick on the Arizona Coyotes every episode.
Are you a Tar Heel, Blue Devil, Demon Deacon, or maybe even a Gamecock? Do you cheer for the Panthers, the Canes, the Crown? And check out the Carolina Sports Update every week with me, Neil Curtis, to get the latest and greatest on all the sports action in the Carolinas. We'll be talking pro sports, ACC and SEC football, basketball, baseball, and everything in between. We'll even talk a little Formula One racing now and again. So, for the best hour of Carolina sports coverage, catch me each week on Carolina Sports Update with Neil Curtis, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to the Sin City Sports Show presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Kayle Henderson. You guys can get at us on our forums, on our social media forums for that matter, SinCity_IESR, at Kayle_Henderson. We talk all things Vegas sports. Big shout out to Taryn Rodriguez. Good evening, my man. Have an awesome show. Thank you so much, Taryn. Best teammate out there. Ralph Calise, give us the Sin City info, brother. Great to see you on air. Let's go. Ralph, Steelers had a great draft. I don't care what anybody says. I understand that they were a little sensitive about not going after Shedeur. I think you guys made the right calls, and I ain't gonna lie to you, Ralph. I think Will Howard is going to be a beast, and there's a lot of things you can do with him. He's very mobile. The one thing I can tell you, Ralph, and this is just my opinion, if he doesn't work out at quarterback, he's the next Taysom Hill. Like, the guy's just a monster. But if you want to talk about a replacement for Big Ben, a guy that could learn and thrive, especially under Arthur, I just Arthur Smith and benefit from those two phenomenal receivers. You guys have rebuilt your offensive line over the last couple of years. I don't know, dude. Like, to me, this is like kind of a match made in heaven. Shedeur would have been great there. Don't get me wrong. He's very talented. But Will Howard, man, he's just a dog, dude. And something tells me, like, you guys are going to win a lot of games if you decide to start him. You don't have to. But I think for some reason in my mind, he's going to win out this job if Aaron Rodgers doesn't show up. But I also think you guys already know you have Aaron Rodgers. That's why you're not stressed about it. So you can have Aaron for 2 years. Will can sit behind him, and guess what? Will's ready to go by year 3, year 4, and you get to see what he's made of. And at that point, you got a rookie contract. You continue to put some money on. Dude, I love your guys' offseason. I loved your draft. Want to give you a ton of love. Taryn, just a shout out to you, man. The Chargers, solid draft. Rams, solid drafts. Like, everybody in the AFC West got better. It makes me sick. There is not a single team the last 2 years that have had a bad draft, and it really sucks for a team that's fighting for last place every year. The Raiders, right? Just stinks. So big shout out, Ralph. I think the Steelers did a great job, and you did a great job covering them there on the Yinzer Report, dude. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always, and being a great teammate. Shout out to you, brother. I will play your drop next after this next one because you are here, my man. Appreciate you. Yes, guys, if you want to get back, if you guys want to talk to me, get at me, talk anything Vegas sports or sports just in general. Maybe you want to argue with me on my points on Shedeur, Mel Kiper. Maybe you're kind of a glazer when it comes to that kid. Good for you. I'm not. I think he's got a lot to earn. He's a talented kid, but he's got a lot to earn in life, right? Silver spoon his whole life. So if you guys don't agree with that, it's all good. Get at me at SinCity_ISR, at Kayle_Henderson. We talk all things Vegas sports. Vegas Golden Knights are underway tonight, guys. They're playing the Wild in Minnesota. It's a live game. They're getting after it. And as of right now, we're seeing 2-1 Vegas at the end of the first. I'm telling you guys, man, this is a fun series. The NHL playoffs in general has been really fun. There's a lot of series tied right now, or it's a 3-2 series lead going into Game 7. For example, the Stars and Avalanche. By the way, what a juggernaut gauntlet of a game series that is. Those two teams are phenomenal. They're great hockey teams. If you guys want to check into this, by the way, Adam Karnick, Zach Cutlass on the Neutral Zone. They do a great job covering NHL hockey, covering any kind of hockey for that matter. And they're going, I should say it, blank deep. They're going blank deep on the analysis when it comes to playoffs this year. I think the playoffs are so exciting. I really do. Florida looks like they're going for a two-peat. Washington seems to have something in the tank, and they're trying to give Ovi the best. It's almost like the Jerome Bettis treatment. Like they want to send him out on a good note, right? Or Ray Lewis that one year, they won the Super Bowl and he backed out. He didn't have any more people to murder. I'm just kidding. That didn't happen. It wasn't proven. Damn. I'm sure Ralph liked that one. Ugh. Being a Steelers fan. That was just low ball, wasn't it? Ralph, one of the greatest linebackers ever. No one can argue that. And I had to say that. That's just crazy. That was just crazy talk. But yeah, guys, the NHL playoffs is underway. A lot of fun. Ton of really good games. Right now, the two games that are live are the Golden Knights in Minnesota. They have a 2-1 lead with a first period. We also have the Kings and Oilers live tonight. That just started basically, or it's halfway through the first period. You guys can check. They're all over television right now. NHL playoffs is one of the most fun things to watch, dude. Other than their overtime rules, they are hot garbage. I hate that. Do a shootout. There is nothing more exciting than a shootout if you're a fan. If you guys want to bring popularity back to the NHL, get rid of your stupid ass overtime rules. Do one overtime. If it doesn't work out, go to a shootout. Don't waste time. Don't make us stay up till 3 a.m. to watch a game if it keeps going. That's ridiculous. But yeah, Golden Knights are up 2-1. It's been a hell of a series, guys. It's been back and forth. I think the Vegas won the first game. Wild won the next two. Vegas won the last one. Interesting stat. I think the Vegas Golden Knights have won 3 out of the last 5 series that have made it to a game 5. So that bodes well for the Vegas Golden Knights. And it bodes well for the way that they play hockey. I just think that the Wild are just a big team this year. I think they play heavy on the puck. I think they match up really well with the Golden Knights, and that's why we're seeing what we're seeing. Regardless, whoever makes it to the next round, you have a really tough outing because the Kings or Oilers are not going to wait for you guys. They're just not. They're really good, man. Kings and Oilers. Look at the West, dude. The Jets Blues, that's tied 2-2. St. Louis Blues, they're no snuff either, right? They're playing the Jets really well, very evenly. Jets were the best team in hockey this year. They're keeping up. Dallas has got a 3-2 lead. They'll basically be playing Game 7 March 1st, so that's Thursday. That should be interesting to watch. That's in Colorado. Big McKinnon fan, so excited for that. But the Stars have seemed to always have a really solid group of hockey players. Golden Knights, they win tonight. We're essentially, I think we're staying with the Wild one more game. How does the playoff? It usually goes 2 home, 2 away, or is it 3 away and then 2? I can't remember, guys. Not going to lie to you. 2 home, 2 away, or is it 2 home and then 1? It's ridiculous. They always change that crap up. Just absolutely makes me nuts. Just drives me nuts. Ralph laughs. You're freaking awesome, brother. Thank you for the comments, and you have me pumped up. Yeah, dude. I mean, God. First of all, your division, NFC North, AFC North, is absolutely crazy. And if Aaron Rodgers shows up, it's just thank you, Taryn. Taryn's my guy. 2 home, 2 away, 1 home, 1. Yeah, see, I thought I was on to something. Like the NBA. The NBA. Still a league? I'm just kidding. Ralph, to your point, I just think the Steelers have a lot to look forward to. If they get Rodgers, I think they're equipped to win now. They have a great defense. It'd be one of the better teams that he's played on ever. So I just hope they have something worked out with him and Arthur Smith, and they already have some sort of language, because usually when you bring a veteran quarterback, no different like when Tom Brady showed up to the Bucs or when Peyton showed up to the Broncos, you can tell that the language kind of kept with what those guys know so they can kind of run the show on the field, right? I'm hoping him and Arthur Smith are having conversations and they have an idea. Personally, I think Aaron's waiting to see what's going to happen with Minnesota, but it really does feel like Minnesota is really going to move forward with J.J. McCarthy. They're comfortable with that. So to me, it feels like the Steelers are the only show for Aaron Rodgers, and this past weekend tells me that the Steelers are going with Aaron Rodgers. Like the fact that they didn't draft a quarterback high, they got a dog in the 4th round. I'm telling you guys, I love Will Howard. Very impressed with him. Loved him on Gruden's show. By the way, want to talk about a renaissance man. Gruden's killing it in Barstool Sports. So entertaining, so much fun. He does things that he just couldn't do at ESPN. Period. But Will Howard to me is a dog. I don't know, man. Something tells me that they got their 4th round guy, but they did it knowing that they have Rodgers coming in and they don't have to play Will right away. And that's best case scenario for Will because he seems like a guy who's going to grind. He's going to absolutely learn the NFL speed, the game, and he's going to be very prepared in a couple years. So, yeah, I'm very excited for you. Very, very excited for you. As stated before, guys, Vegas Golden Knights have a 2-1 lead at the end of the first. This is game 5. The series is tied 2-2. Been a lot of fun to watch so far. They're absolutely killing it. This is a lot of fun to watch as far as hockey. The NHL is absolutely blowing this away. Been a ton of fun. We're going to go to a quick break, guys. Here, when we get back, we're going to dive directly into the Las Vegas Raiders draft weekend. Because I do have some harsh criticisms. I also have a ton of praise to give this new staff. I think we're heading in the right direction. We'll find out. Obviously, the play is what matters, the results what matters. But we'll talk more about that when we get back here on the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS. The SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, Pittsburgh? This is Ralph Galise, the host of the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you that passionate, diehard Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, or just a Pittsburgh sports fan? Then please join me on the Injury Report every Tuesday on IE Sports Radio, the direct feed for all that is sports. And I will update you on all that's black and gold, have you telling your Pittsburgh fans and friends what's up with Pittsburgh sports. Tune in Tuesday with me, Ralph Galise, the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
Welcome back, ladies and sitters. Welcome back. This is the final piece of the show, and we always end it off with our beloved Las Vegas Raiders, because you guys know the NFL is a license to print money, and we have to talk about that money-making team, the Las Vegas Raiders, who went from basically being a $970 million franchise back in Oakland to now a $6.8 billion franchise in Las Vegas, which is absolutely crazy in just a 5-6 year span. Ton of fun to analyze. Unfortunately, the team has been dog meat for about 20 years. So we're going to be critical of them as always, but we're going to still be diehard fans and love them while we can. Quick shout out to Ralph and Taryn. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Yes, of course, I'm going to play your drops, man. You guys are awesome. You're great teammates. It's one of the best ways I can give back. Again, I have a busy schedule, have a really hard time tuning in to do anything. And the fact that you guys are willing to do this is just part of the reason why I love being a part of IE Sports Radio, man. You guys are great. So, of course, I'm going to play your guys' drops. No doubt in my mind that's going to take place. Just, guys, a refresher real quick. Went off on Mel Kiper today. If you guys get a chance, watch the beginning of the show. You guys can always watch back. We're on every major platform, right? YouTube, Apple Pods, Amazon Podcasts, Audible, right? Spreaker. We're on everything. For some reason, I don't have that old banner, but we're on everything, guys. Spotify, check us out. Listen to the old show. Go to YouTube, watch this back. I went off on Mel Kiper. Think he's just out of touch. The same guy that says the NFL has no idea how to evaluate quarterbacks in the draft is the same guy that said Jamarcus Russell would be the next John Elway. Just want to point that out. He's a dumbass. Tons of props to him, by the way. He's done a great job of creating draft analysis, especially on primetime TV. He deserves everything he gets there. So happy he's been around for 40 years, and he's paved the way for a lot of folks. I'm very envious of that position, but I just can't sit back and listen to hypocrisy, okay? You don't get to throw spears on live television after that, especially being a Raiders fan, okay? You're not perfect. Trent Dilfer wasn't perfect, yet you think the Indianapolis Colts should have just drafted him. Without an elite defense, he doesn't win a Super Bowl in Baltimore. You didn't think Rich Gannon was a very good quarterback. Guess what? He was a league MVP and tore the league up for 4 years under John Gruden, Bill Callahan. So, Mel Kiper, shut up. You're dog meat too, dude. But you're also great and amazing, and thank you so much for what you've done for draft analysis. Went off on Shedeur Sanders and not so much on Shedeur Sanders. Shedor's, I think he has a lot to prove. And part of me feels like, and I was talking about this with my colleagues at work this morning, the worst case scenario for us as fans is he's going to figure it out and just be a great quarterback. Like, that's what they're going to be talking about. Patrick Mahomes and Shedeur Sanders nonstop. I don't know if that's going to happen. Some part of me feels like there's too much of an ego there, and I could be dead wrong in 10 years. Watch. That's fine. I'll be wrong about that. But yeah, I don't like the way the media just covered them and really was disingenuous to all the other players that essentially had their dreams come true this past weekend. Pisses me off. I don't like it. Bad form. Terrible. Went off on them. Touched on the Vegas Golden Knights. They're live right now. Start of the second period. They're up 2-1 against the Minnesota Wild. We'll try and keep some updates as we go. But that series is tied 2-2, and they're going back. Well, they'll be basically be back in Minnesota again this next time. They'll finish up Game 7 if they have to go to Game 7 in Las Vegas. So, lot to look at. Pretty cool. Part of me feels like the NHL does 2 games at home, 3 games away, and then 2 games at home. For some reason, I thought they went to that format, but I don't disagree with Taryn. 2 home, 2 away, 1-1-1. That makes sense. For some reason in my mind, I thought it was 2-3-2, but I could be completely wrong. Las Vegas Golden Knights, guys, I think we had the NFL draft this past weekend. As you guys heard at the beginning of the show, I went absolutely off on Mel Kiper, the media, the way they kind of ruined things for a bunch of other kids that had their dreams come true this past weekend with their focus on one player and one family, which was absolutely ridiculous. And And just the connotation, man, and the insinuations of melanin, essentially, at the end of the day, is what it comes down to by some people. Even Sage Steele comes out and says, dude, what are we talking about? Like, I have a lot of respect for Sage Steele. She doesn't just drink the Kool-Aid. So, big shout out to her. Done a great job in her career. But man, we got to stop with these agendas that media pushes. It's just so bad. So bad. But the NFL draft took place, guys, and I think a lot of teams absolutely killed it. Killed it. The AFC West, to me, it felt like it was like one of the best divisions in all the draft. Like it feels like the AFC West has not missed for the last few years. If there was a team that missed the last few years in the AFC West, it was the Raiders because they didn't take Jalen Carter, they took Tyree Wilson. But even so, the rest of that draft was actually really good. The last 2 years, it feels like the AFC West is just automatic with the way they've been picking players. So here's my thoughts on the Raiders. I think so far the Raiders have had a B-plus type offseason. And I say that in the sense that I believe Pete Carroll, John Spytek are really trying to establish a culture of competition and development, which is something that every coach talks about, but very few coaches like Pete Carroll can actually do that, put it together. So I give it a B+ because their efforts are noticed. They didn't overspend in free agency, and it feels as though they put a lot of focus in the draft. Now, with that said, I gave the Raiders a strong B, almost a B+ when it came to the draft. Here's my thought process and why. Because for the first time in decades, right, what feels like decades, the NFL analysts out there are giving the Raiders an A or an A+, which is crazy to me. That just doesn't happen. I don't know if that's the Pete Carroll, John Spytek, Tom Brady effect, or if they legitimately just pick good players. This is what I can tell you. I gave them a B, a strong B overall as a staff for putting together the type of draft that they did. I give them an A for establishing an identity of this draft and going after what they were looking for. So to me, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but to me, this holds true. I feel as though the Raiders saw the Eagles and what the Eagles have done for the last few years to build their Super Bowl winning team, and they said, we're doing that. And when I say that, what I mean is all the Raiders are really trying to do is get bigger, stronger, faster, more physical. Everybody that they drafted this draft is a specimen. Like, it feels like everybody has their own traits that you just can't teach from a genetic standpoint. Everyone looks like they jump off the film because they are head and shoulders a better athlete than the person in front of them. Whether it was Ashton Genty, a top 3 player in this entire draft, in my opinion, or last year, right? Different regime, right? But kudos to the Raiders for making smart decisions in the first round for 2 straight years. Okay. Brock Bowers was a top 5 player, period, in the draft last year. The Raiders got him at like 13. This year, the Raiders didn't mince words. They said they were going to take the best available player. They grabbed Ashton Genty, who in my opinion was the 3rd best player in this entire draft. And when I say 3rd best player, the other 2 in front of him were, to me, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter. And probably not in that order. I don't know. It's just, there's just something to be said about Abdul Carter and his upside. I just see Micah Parsons scream off the page, but there's something really special about Travis Hunter, man. I love that kid, dude. I love that his hobby's fishing while everybody else is partying and buying a bunch of stupid shit. That kid he has a bass boat sponsorship. He owns essentially land with a pond that he can just go out and fish bass on whenever he wants. It's just genius, dude. I just love that kid. And I think he's going to be huge for Jacksonville. I have an old buddy, not so much a buddy anymore, that's a Jacksonville fan. They've never really had a superstar. I'm just saying what it is. Jacksonville's never really had a superstar. Trevor Lawrence didn't really take the reins. Travis Hunter's going to kill it for them there. Dude, he's going to sell tickets. and they gave up a haul, way more than I would give up. But that's probably why I'm not a GM of the Jaguars. Love it. But Ashton Jeanty to me was the number 3 overall player. Just a difference maker in general. I hate drafting running backs in the first. I say that, and I mean it with a passion. I think it's stupid. You could get 2 or 3 backs in the later rounds. If you have an elite offensive line, any of those guys are going to look like all pros. Pacheco is a perfect example for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he's a talented player. Don't get me wrong. He's a very talented player. You cannot tell me that he hasn't benefited from an elite team. And this whole Saquon Barkley was a first-round pick. Guys, Saquon, what did the Giants do with Saquon? Answer that question. What did they do with Saquon? Was he really worth a first-round pick? They made the playoffs one time. It wasn't until he went to an already built and elite team that he did what he did last year. Not to say he wasn't capable of it the years before. Saquon Barkley's a beast. I'm just saying, there's something to be said that he wasn't the best player on that team until he was. That team was just elite. That was one of the best teams we've ever seen assembled in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles was. That's kind of what I'm hoping the Raiders do before spending money on a running back. Regardless, you got your guy. Super happy with Jeanty. But I'm looking at this overall, I'm just looking at this list of players, right? Ashton Jeanty, physical specimen, one of the best athletes in all of the draft. Like, he was graded high. One of the best athletes, period, in this entire draft. Not just running back, not just players, athletes. Okay? Jack Besh, TCU. Again, Senior Bowl star. MVP Senior Bowl star. Dude played lights out. Great hands. He's dropped one pass in his entire collegiate career. One pass. Between playing at LSU and playing at TCU, this man dropped one pass. That is absolutely insane to me, okay? The other thing is he was a finalist for the Biletnikoff Award. So not only is this dude I think he was 6'2", 215 pounds, so he's got size. I don't know if he's got elite speed, but he's got size. He's just a physical specimen, dude. How about Porter? Darian Porter at Iowa State. This man's 6'4". He's and I mean this when I say it, and he's not as good as him, so don't take it like this, guys, please. But when I see Darian Porter, I 100% see Richard Sherman. 6'4", 200 pounds, has excellent man-on-man skills, coverage grade, right? Grade, unbelievable in zone coverage. Who does that sound like? He had a 91 grade in PFF for zone coverage. His run defense grade is soft. He's got to be a better tackler, come up and make plays. I loved how Nick Saban was really pounding that at home. He was just talking about people's film. He goes, I thought he could be a better tackler. I think he'd be more physical. Sometimes I just think he's soft. He would say that stuff, but congratulate the player. I look at Darian Porter, man, and for some reason I just see a Richard Sherman. I am not saying he's Richard Sherman. He's that good. What I'm saying is he's got potential. He's got the size. He's got the traits. And if you're telling me this guy who has 4.3 speed can turn and run with somebody in zone coverage or man coverage and do it without really losing his hips, you can lock down one side of the field. And you already have Jacorian Bennett on the other side who's played really well since being drafted from Maryland, right? So the Raiders, to me, just struck gold when it came to this pick. Again, a physical specimen, 6'4", 200-pound corner. How often do you find that, guys? How often do you find that? This is where the head scratchers come in for me. And it's nothing against these picks. Happy for him. But Caleb Rogers at Texas Tech. He's going to come in. He's going to be a backup. He's going to be a developmental player because I think he's going to get moved into guard. He played tackle at Texas Tech, played a few snaps at guard, but he's going to get moved into guard ultimately for the Raiders. I think he's physical. I think he's physical. I think that's a huge piece of why he's there. I think he can move. Huge piece of why he's there. I think he's better in zone blocking than I would say gap. I would say he's better at zone than gap. Not too different, but I think he's better in zone, something Chip Kelly loves to run. But here's the thing with Chip. He runs a lot of zone, a lot of duo, but guess what? He'll turn around and he'll run power and counter like nobody's business. And he does it in various ways and pulls different people at all time. There's a good chance this guy doesn't even see the field year one. It could happen because competition's competition. And I can tell you guys right now, Pete Carroll is going to have a competition every single day for the Raiders to practice until it's game time. And then he has his themes, right? One of the things that Richard and them guys during interviews would say, Pete hosted competition Tuesdays. You showed up on Tuesday, you're going at it, and you're trying to win your job on a weekly basis. That is how he built his Super Bowl teams as a vice president of football operations with John Snyder. They did well over 100 transactions in 2 years, and guess what? By year 3, they were in the Super Bowl. By year 4, they were repeating an appearance in the Super Bowl. That's what we're hoping for Pete Carroll this time around, and it looks like he's trying to go after the same players. I mean, look at this, man. Look at the mold. Ashton Genty, he's getting comps. He's getting comps from Marshawn Lynch, right? Jack Besh, big, strong receiver. Golden Tate is what they're saying. Even better than that because he's a really good route runner. He's got surefire hands. Darian Porter, you guys know Richard Sherman. Caleb Rogers, I'm not quite certain where that comp is. But again, good pick. Here's a head scratcher for me. Charles Grant out of William & Mary. Okay, cool. Late bloomer. His run blocking grade was phenomenal. Like a 93 according to PFF. That's elite, man. He's 6'7". I think he's got a ton of upside. That's what they're looking for. Again, another guy that does not have to come in and play right away because you already have some guys in place. And personally, to me, I think Thayer Mumford is going to be the guy. I think he's going to figure it out. If he doesn't, he's got someone knocking on his door from like DJ Blade or DJ Glade or whatever. I think he's got a guy knocking on his door. Deontay Thornton, speedster. Again, 6'5", over 200 pounds, ran a 4.3. Athletes. That's what they're looking for. Tonka Hemingway. Big athlete, defensive lineman out of South Carolina. Look at the theme, guys. It was obvious what their theme was. We're just going to get bigger, stronger, and faster. We're going to go out and get beasts. Just like Philly did for a few years. And what happened? They rebuilt their trenches, and what happened? They won a Super Bowl. And they competed in 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. It means something, guys. Go after the biggest, most physical guys. At the end of the day, football is about being a bully. Football is about being consistent. It's about winning in the trenches. I think Jalen Hurts is a hell of a player. I think he's a hell of an athlete. Do I think he's an elite quarterback? Absolutely not. I think he benefits, just like Saquon does, from having elite talent around him. Because Howie Roseman has done a phenomenal job of putting together one of the best teams we've ever seen. I don't know how to pronounce this for some reason. JJ Pegas, again, big, 6'2", 6'3", 320 pounds. He's going to be a one-gap guy, someone who can really shed blocks and get back there, especially when he's motivated. I think this is going to be motivation because guess what? He's going to play professional football and get paid to do it. Not to say he wasn't getting paid, but you get what I'm saying. Here's the other head scratchers, guys. And this is part of what I mean. This is why I gave them a B. It's about value at the position, correct? So Charles Grant, I see the upside. I get it. I think the Raiders were very calculated when they were using their picks to find developmental guys. There's a lot of teams that really like Charles Grant because of his run blocking ability. Like he's just going to be a masher in the middle. My issue is like Tommy Millott. I'm excited about it because, again, according to the combine, he was like the number 2 rated athlete in the entire combine. We're talking about a combine that had Ashton Genty and all them guys in there, right? Tommy Millott was rated, as far as an athlete's concerned, the number 2 rated athlete in the entire draft profile. When you look at this guy and you see him run, it screams Julian Edelman, Wes Welker. And I'm not surprised because Tom Brady's looking for that, right? Again, elite athlete. They're going to move him from quarterback to wide receiver. I firmly believe that. The head scratcher for me, Cam Miller out of North Dakota State. Again, great athlete. Love it. He had like a 92.6 passer grade with a clean pocket, right? He's a good player. You could have easily gotten Quinn Ewers out of this draft over this guy. Someone with proven experience against Power 4 teams. Led his team to the playoffs 2 years in a row. Outplayed Arch Manning and held him out from taking his job for almost 2 seasons. Like, dude, come on. Like, how are you going to tell me that Cam Miller is a better quarterback and player than Quinn Ewers, who was still on the board at the time? Again, and I hate to say this, guys, I'm not trying to, be petty. There's just certain things the Raiders do every year that really piss me off. Like, the obvious thing would have been, instead of, maybe Charles Grant, and maybe I'm wrong, I get egg on my face, and 3 years from now, he's an elite starter and winning Pro Bowl honors, right? Awesome. But to me, the third round or something like this, to me, the third round, I'm just being real with you, could have very easily been Shedeur or something like that. And I would have taken it because, again, Shedeur in the third would have been amazing value. He was the top 2 quarterback in this draft. And if he falls to 3, that's amazing value for the Raiders. Would I want all that nastiness and drama? No. But I'm telling you guys, something tells me Shedeur's going to figure this thing out. It's scary. It's a scary concept. If I feel like Shedeur is going to prove everybody wrong. Like, he's already been posting workout. I hate that crap, by the way. But still, he's posting workouts. He's got a good attitude. I think he's just going to come in. There's a chance Shedeur wins the job. We don't know what's going on with Deshaun. Joe Flacco might be at the end of his, very end. You know what I mean? There's a possibility Shedeur starts. I don't know if Dylan Gabriel's going to beat him out, even though Dylan Gabriel's a beast. Just saying. But I feel like that second, third round pick, instead of Charles Grant, development reach, let's take Shedeur. You have a guy that can develop behind a veteran quarterback for a couple of years, and then you give him the reins. Because by that time, I think he'd be ready, especially in Chip's offense. And this is part of what I'm saying. Like, if I were the Raiders and you pick him up, you have a serious conversation with Shedeur and say, hey, listen, you have a lot of advantages here. Pete Carroll is a Super Bowl winning coach. He had 3 Heisman Trophy winners, 2 national championships. He knows how to build winning culture. You have the luxury of coaching or being coached by Pete Carroll, right? Number 2, you have the ability to get coached by Chip Kelly, one of the best offensive minds we've seen in 20-some years, a couple decades in the NFL or college, whatever. And Chip Kelly does a great job of making systems quarterback friendly. We saw that with Nick Foles, right? Looked like an all-pro for a couple of years under Chip Kelly. All I'm saying is there was a lot of upside. He's probably going to get the same treatment in Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski's won, I think, Coach of the Year 2 of the last 4 years. He's a great coach. He's helped make Cleveland relevant. Shedeur could start there, just like there's a chance he could have earned a job here sooner or later, or at least been the backup if Geno went down. I would have just liked to seen that second, third round pick there. Or, again, that 6th round pick, instead of it being on the North Dakota State quarterback, Quinn Ewers is the guy. I would rather take him. And you don't have to worry about Quinn Ewers playing for a while because you still have Geno. Cody Lindenberg, to me, feels like a Jack Eichenberg situation from last year. You're just bringing a thumper in to come in and really, lay the wood defensively. I think he's going to, this guy could fight for snaps. He's a big linebacker in the middle, right? He could fight for snaps. Him and Eichenberg could very easily be competing for special team snaps or be special teams gods out there. That's how he's going to make the deal, but he could develop. Overall, I give this draft a strong B. Could even be a B+, but I'm not wavering from that because I think there's 2 areas in the draft where we could have really taken advantage of getting value, right? If you get Shedeur in the 3rd or Quinn in the 6th, Quinn Ewers in the 6th, I think they get an A+ draft because you get 2 high caliber quarterbacks with a lot of experience and a lot of success of throwing the ball at value positions. Those are just my thoughts. Again, this is nothing against this draft. I think overall this draft was really well done by the Raiders. I think it's very well done. I give them a ton of credit. Phenomenal draft for what they do. And the message we heard about it, they were trying to get bigger and stronger. Period. They're going back to bully ball. They're going to establish the run. They're going to play great defense under Patrick Graham. I hope we can get Patrick more than 1 year under Pete Carroll. I don't foresee it. I think for some reason I feel like this defense is absolutely going to pop off, be a top 10 defense, and Patrick's finally going to get his shot to be a head coach. Because something tells me you got Chip Kelly because you made some promises. And for some reason I feel like when Chip decides to hang it up, or sorry, when Pete Carroll decides to hang it up, it's Chip Carroll's. You don't pay a guy $6 million to be an offensive coordinator with essentially having a head coach in waiting. That's just my thoughts. And Chip would be a perfect, fill-in, renegade type Raiders head coach if Pete wanted to step away. Regardless, a lot of positives. B+ offseason so far. It's not over. They still have plenty of cap space. Teams cut players all the time after the draft. There could be some additions that really come in and make a difference. Like, we're hearing talks from the media, which you don't hear very often, of the Raiders possibly being a fringe playoff team, like a wild card team, because you're not beating Kansas City, not with this group. But you're going to see strides being made. All we need is Geno to take care of the football, have an efficient year, run the ball well, stay ahead of the sticks, play field position with your punter, because you got two of the best special teams kickers in the league. And just play great defense, man. And we're going to see a team that wins more games than they lose. And that would be a nice change. A really nice change. Right now, it seems like this offseason is on a great start, man. I think Pete Carroll, John Spytek, I think they did really well in this draft. Again, a strong B, could be a B+. I think it could have been an A+ if they would have done better with the value. Like, again, they're just going after guys they really like, and I'm not against that. For some reason, it shows Charles Grant at 6'4". I don't believe that. I'm pretty positive he's way bigger than that. I'm pretty positive he's like 6'7", was like 6'7", 330, 320, something like that. Overall, ton of athletic potential. So I see it. Don't get me wrong. Just like I see, the Raiders draft pick with Cam Miller. I just think it would have been better used to be Quinn. I really do. Overall, great draft, guys. They got bigger. They got stronger. They got faster. I think that defensive line is going to be an absolute problem for the NFL this year, with Christian Wilkins coming back, Malcolm Kuntz healthy, Max Crosby healthy, right? These two young guys being plugged in at nose tackle and rotating reps. That looks really good. I think the linebacking core got better. The cornerback, the defensive backfield got better. The running back room certainly got better for one of the worst rushing teams in the league last year. And it's going to come in. I think he's going to come in and push Zeus, which is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And I went long there, guys. I know it. But I was going on a tangent. I couldn't help it. Ashton Genty's going to help a ton. Nobody forced more missed tackles the last 5-6 years than Ashton Genty. We're going to see Jack Besh probably step in and get a lot of reps. He's just really a Jacoby Myers 2.0. Let's be real. Your offense is going to be run through Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers. Two of the best athletes in the last two drafts. Feed them. Don't even hesitate. Don't mess around. Just feed them. Give them what we love, man. Give them what we love. Give those guys, give those freaks the ball. That's simple. This is the Sin City Sports Show presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Kayle Henderson. You guys can get at us on Twitter at SinCity_ISR, at Kayle_Henderson. We talk all things Vegas sports. Vegas Golden Knights are live tonight, guys. Make sure you guys check them out. Keep up with them. It is a 2-2 tied series, right? Much love to the Vegas Golden Knights. Need them to keep up their stride here. They still have a 2-1 lead. In the second, they're on the power play. Let's see them go up 2 goals and try and close this game out early tonight. Shout out to the Golden Knights. They're about to go home for the last 2 games because I do believe it's 2-3-2 in the NHL for that first series. I could be wrong, but a lot of interesting hockey. And then shout out to the Raiders, man, for having a great draft, not overreaching on too many players and just doing what they think is the right thing. A lot of things are up, moving up. As always, folks, we'll see you guys next Tuesday here, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard, where we talk all things Vegas sports. Thanks again for watching. Love, peace, and air grease, folks.